is that when we gather in your name, in this place, your people, you're here to build us and encourage us. You're here to inspire us, to fill us afresh with your Holy Spirit. Your presence here is so valuable. When we encounter you, you bring great change into our heart and our lives. And we're so thankful. We've come into this place, Lord God, carrying a bit of weight, but we leave this place filled afresh with your Spirit, filled with joy. Our cup is overflowing. So, Father, I thank you for what you're going to do in the remaining part of our service. By faith, I believe, God, you're going to do some miracles in our hearts and our lives in this place today. And everyone said, Amen. And said, Amen. Turn to your neighbour and say, you're very good looking. I'd like to kiss you, but I'm not allowed to. Well, we have got some visitors in church today. We have our old youth pastor who fell in love with a Bond University girl called Karen, and then she stole our youth pastor and they went to Minnesota in America. It's good to see. Stand up here, guys, and let's welcome and the kids. Come on, all 15 of you. Come on, stand up. Come on, everyone. Come on, let's give these guys a big clap. Oh, bearded man, you look fantastic. Been watching you on Facebook. He's a great guy. So great to see you guys. Fantastic. On holidays here in Australia. Fantastic. Do you like the person you're sitting next to? You're going to take them out to lunch? I'll ask again. You're going to take them out to lunch? Come on, this is a great opportunity I'm giving you. And you're going to shout them for lunch? Mumble, okay. So good to have you in church today. And we're going to have a great time. And if you've got your Bibles, in fact, there's a newsletter there if you want to follow our message. And Sarah actually meant to say that we're continuing in our Connect groups, our stewardship series, but I want to start a brand new series today. And we're going to be looking at something a little bit interesting today. And the title of our message today is, I just want to believe that. Everyone say that. Come on, give me a big but. Come on. I want to believe in God. But. Turn to your neighbour and say, give me your big butt. Okay. What did you learn in church today? No, okay. Look, I don't know if you've ever noticed in the last few years, there's been quite a change. A few years ago, a lot of people said, oh yeah, I believe in God. But today, there's been a bit of a change. As you know, a lot of people say, look, I want to believe in God, but there's been quite a change. And I think there's a variety of reasons for people who stop believing in God. And for some people, maybe they prayed about an issue and God didn't answer that prayer. And they said, well, God's not real. Just the other week, I walked out of this building, and the building beside us, they were painting the building and pulling off the wings of the building. And I walked over there, and I said, oh, hey guys, how you doing? I was just wondering if whether or not you're going to do those wings or you're going to just paint them. And they turned to me and said, oh yeah. I said, I'm the guy from over this building. We repaired our wings on our building a few years ago. And the guy came up to me and says, you're from that building, are you? He says, you and your invisible friend. And he's quoting Dawkins directly, right? He's a biological evolutionary atheist. And he said it straight to my face. He never introduced himself. He just said it straight to my face. And I thought, do I get involved in a conversation here? Or what do I do? And the other guys all stopped working and turned around. And so I patted my hand on his shoulder and said, you're funny. You're really funny. We'll have to have a chat someday. Okay. And he wanted to engage me. He wanted to fight, actually. That's what he wanted, but I didn't want to have a fight at the time. I just want to talk about paint. But it's a little bit difficult sometimes because there is so much information out there, I think people are confused. So Jaden, where are you, Jaden? Come up here. I've asked Shane just to share a little bit. He's being offended. He graduated from Bible college last year. What do you reckon? And he's running a fantastic youth group. And not only has he got church kids in it, there's a whole stack of people from the community. And is this an issue with these kids?
Yeah. All the kids have these. And like, it's crazy, like kids that are like fresh out of the womb, like are playing with iPads. It's crazy. So like, they're growing up in a generation where they have internet at their fingertips every day, and information on social media. Media is so prevalent in the world right now. And so they're getting fed all this information. They kind of don't know what to do with it, so they kind of keep it all to themselves, or they take bits and pieces of stuff. So when we get to Fridays, we have kids that have come in and they think totally differently to what's biblical, and on top of that, it's totally different to what's socially normal now, because they're taking so many things from different places. And so when we're sharing the gospel message, it's so difficult because kids already have in their mind, oh, but I already know this is true because I saw this on Facebook yesterday. So it's actually quite crazy.
So it's a bit of a soup.
Yeah, it's like they have an information pile just cherry picking from different places.
So what are you going to do?
Well, I think that the way that we're trying to tackle the issue is by building a relationship first with the kids and letting that soften their heart before we share the message of Christ. Letting the Holy Spirit do the work instead of us, because I think it's much more difficult for us to untangle all this information in our own strength, instead letting the Holy Spirit do the work in their life.
Yeah. Congratulations from Bible college. Fantastic. Now, some people find it very difficult to believe. If you just think for a moment, if one Christian prays one prayer a day, and there are 2.2 billion Christians in the world, Jesus has to answer 28,000 prayers per second. Okay? And some people are just going to go, that's impossible. And in fact, that was the argument that was put to me when I was in university, when I was doing my master's in philosophy, and the guy was trying to find out who was a Christian in the room, because he would constantly rag people in order to find out where they believe. And a lot of people struggle with that. And some people today live in that but zone. I want to believe in God, but I'm struggling. I can't make up my mind. There's this but. They're living in the but zone. Everyone say, we're living in the but zone, okay? Not that but. Okay, we're living in a but zone. They're not rejecting the true God. I think some folk have a distorted view of God. Do you understand what I mean? And in fact, if we were to do a survey, if we went up and asked a survey, and we asked the question, describe God, I guarantee you would get a variety of answers. Because they're giving a personal opinion rather than looking towards the source of the information. And in fact, it was Noriko, we were, years ago, I was talking to her about how do you start a church in Japan? How do people worship God there? And her immediate response was, which God? And in fact, Akiko came back from Japan just recently, and she had a picture on Facebook, and all these businessmen were coming out of the temple. They pay their money in order to get a blessing for the rest of the year, because that's the God that they worship. So if we look at it today, Jaden was saying on the internet there are so many different gods, and we're talking about the Christian God, so people go, well, what's the difference? And so what can happen is we can have an insufficient view of God. And for example, this is my iPad. If I was to ask you, how do you work it? And Justin would say, well, you push the button. But if I were to ask the next question, how does it work inside with its Wi-Fi and everything and Bluetooth? None of us would be able to answer that. And some of us have that limited knowledge of God, which is basically push the button, but we don't really understand a little bit more, and we get ourselves in trouble. Okay? And what happens is a conflict occurs, and we're in trouble. So for the next few weeks, what I want to do, just for a few weeks, next Sunday is our welcome lunch. If you just joined Hope Church, we want to have a welcome lunch for you. We have this regularly. Meet the team, meet the pastors. We share a bit of our vision. Our vision here at Hope is to give people a sense of godly hope. Okay, that's what our vision is all about. We want to give a sense of the Bible hope. Jeremiah 29 verse 11, the promise of God is to give you a hope in the future. And so we're going to share that over lunchtime. And then at 3 weeks' time, we're going to have water baptism. And maybe last Sunday, 24 people in this place put their hand up. Maybe you're not here today. Maybe you're watching online. Whatever it is. Of those 24 people, some of those would have been rededications. That's fantastic. It's good to rededicate yourself. But 24 people put up their hand. And we would love to have you be water baptized. That is your next step. So that's at 3 weeks' time. Talk to Pastor Justin. We'll put it on your connection card, which you've already got rid of, and put in the offering container, which was already gone. Okay, and then in 5 weeks it's Easter. And that's going to be just fantastic. Okay, so in your notes today, I just want to talk about over the next few weeks some of the incorrect views of the fabrications, some of the incorrect, distorted views of God. Is that all right? Come on, you've got to talk to me. Is that okay? Come on, we're Pentecostal, you know. This is not an Anglican church, this is Pentecostal. So if I'm preaching well, you go, oh, yay. Something like that. Yeah. Okay, you don't want to do it, okay. So, for example, the Goosebumps God. You know what the Goosebumps God is? I believe in God, but I can't feel Him. Okay? I read the Bible, but I don't feel anything. I come to church, I can't feel anything. I prayed for something, but I didn't feel a response. That's the Goosebumps God. Or maybe the Heartless God. That's another view, you know. I want to believe in God, but horrible things happen in the world. Is that true? You know, like why does Queensland always win and beat New South Wales in state of origin? It's just horrible. Why does God allow that? Okay. You know, like why do hungry kids die and starve? There's all, you know, and so we end up with this view that God is heartless. It's an incorrect view. It's an incorrect view. Or the killjoy God. I want to believe in God, but I ain't following no rules. I want to have sex before I get married. Okay? All those Christian rules, you know, and so that's a killjoy God. Okay? So we're going to talk about these different types of fabrication. But today, I want to talk on the on-demand God. Everyone say on-demand. On-demand. Okay, now we've got a range of people here today. And we've got some baby boomers. Now, baby boomers were born from 1946 to 1964. Who are baby boomers? Okay, you're revealing your age here. Look, aren't they good looking? Aren't they aging well? Okay, and we've also got some Generation X. That's 1963 to 1980. 1963 to 1980. Okay, that's Generation X. Then we've got some Generation Y, and they are 1981 to 1994. Okay, and we've got some Zs. Now X, Y, and Zs, you can tell the difference between them. You know, like we have mobile phones, the baby boomers, but X, Y, Zs have it attached to their arms. It's an extension of their arm. They're always on their phones. Okay, so that's that group. Okay, baby boomers. How many remember Hawaii 5-0? How many people remember the Love Boat? That's the Love Boat. Kylie, you're not in that age bracket. Don't correct me, honey. Okay. How about Dallas? Mork and Mindy? How about Happy Days? What are you young people watching these old shows? Okay. And $6 Million Man. Okay. Yeah, this is really going to confuse Generation X, Y, Z. It's going to really confuse you. Okay? Listen in. Boomers would sit in front of the TV every week, waiting, say like Friday night, they'd have their meal really fast, get it all organised, and sit and wait for their show to come on. And if you missed it, that's it. It's gone. Never see that show ever again. Remember? You remember that? Okay. Generation X, Y, and Z are saying, what on earth are you talking about? You know, how many X, Y, Z? Lift up your hands again. Keep them up. How many of you binge watch? on either DVD or Netflix or whatever it may be, how many binge watched The Walking Dead? You watch it, you just sit there for 18 hours watching 4 seasons of it. The Crown, Breaking Bad. Today, come on,